part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
And welcome to another edition of the Red Guy and Rhoda podcast, brought to you by MGM Northfield Park. We'll tell you a little bit later about what's going on this weekend up there at MGM Northfield Park, so stay tuned for that. We love our main man, Chase Smith, the CEO here on the Press Play Podcast Network. Thanks for having us as always, and a shout out to our esteemed producer, Jordan Powell. Make sure everything sounds good for you and you get it out there in the podcatosphere. And Michael Regai, always great to catch up with you, my friend. We've got some Guardians we'll get to later. We've got the draft lottery and Apbith, another ping pong ball in the hopper to discuss with the Cavaliers, unfortunately. And your favorite to start tonight's podcast, Michael Regai and I, whenever we did our radio shows back on WKNR, he looked forward to this day more than any other day of the year. When that Browns schedule came out, he couldn't wait to play the schedule game with the Browns. You ready to do it, Reg?
Yeah, baby. I'm ready to do it. You're right. Nothing that I enjoyed more during our time together than doing that when the NFL schedule came out, Ken, in early May, and start talking about from September to January. Nothing I like better.
We know how many games Deshaun Watson's going to play. We know who's going to be healthy and who's going to be hurt. So that's why this schedule game is going to be dead on. This is going to be precise and right down to the final win of the season for the Browns, right?
I'd be shocked if we both don't just hit this as close to 100% as possible in the 17 football games. Absolutely.
Rhoda, how can you pick the games? You don't know who's going to be on the damn roster. Remember? The professor hated it as well, Jeff Sindelar.
I used to love that. Yeah, he would bring me to my knees when he would bring that out to us about – You guys are out of your minds trying to do this.
God rest his soul. We miss him, and we remember him, though, regularly on these podcasts. All right. With that in mind and a nod to the professor, Jeff Sindelar, Michael, first of all, when you saw the schedule come out, did anything catch your eye as far as trends, soft portion, hard portion, the bye week, anything like that, first of all?
Ken, two things very quickly. A chance to get off to, I think, a very strong start is there for the Browns in the month of September and into early October. And then number two, Ken, following the bye week, right? 4 road games of the next 5, a couple of them against probable playoff teams. And only 2 home games, Kenny, of the last 6 of the year. So that's it. Those 3 things specifically stood out to me right away as soon as we got it last Thursday.
I'm with you. I looked at the first 4 games and thought immediately 3-1 minimum. Get fat on those first 4 opponents at the Panthers. The Jets, Jets at home. Thursday night, home against the Steelers with baby hands Pickett, maybe at quarterback for Pickett, and the Atlanta Falcons.
You're a mean man, Rhoda. You're a mean man. Oh, Reg, wow. Yeah, well,
I have the same size hands as Kenny Pickett. Yes, really? I did. I got the tape measure out 8.5, and they go from thumb to pinky. In fact, I think mine might be a little bit larger than his. Okay. And you don't see me wearing gloves to do everyday things like he has to throw a football. It was 80 degrees out the other day.
Okay, now if you consider being a quarterback at a strong Division I program and now the NFL, everyday things, buddy. I'm not sure that qualifies, but okay. Well, everybody has brought up the hand size with him, so he coming into the NFL with something. Whether or not that puts a chip on his shoulder, I don't know, but he's got something to get through and prove people wrong about right away.
He does, and we'll see if he beats Mitch Trubisky out for the job in training camp, or maybe it's Ohio Mitch who gets the job.
I don't think he will, Kenny, because, again, nobody's saying Mitch Trubisky is a decent to good NFL quarterback, Ken. I think. I don't know, but, again, nobody's saying that, he's special, he's top 10, but I believe that you meaning whatever team you are, if again, surround him well, you can be a playoff team with him. He's a decent, good NFL quarterback.
My only concern for him or Pickett, the offensive line. Yeah, they got skill players, right? But that offensive line is the worst in the division, and that's saying something when you consider Cincinnati's, O-line the last couple of years, but they've upgraded that this year.
Sure.
So we'll see how that plays out. So that's a winnable game for the Browns at home against the Steelers, and then at Atlanta. So 3-1.
Oh, we've already done 2-0 at Carolina.
Yeah, come on, Reg.
Those are just givens.
Absolutely.
Look at you, Rhoda. Look at you. Just givens. No problems at all. Kenny, I'm waiting for him to tell me about week 1 down in Charlotte, Reg, against Carolina. He just went right to week 3 against Pittsburgh. Rhoda's got W's for at Carolina and versus the
don't
Jets.
You? Doesn't everybody have W's with Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson?
Hey, better damn well be. If they lose one of those first two, now there's, I'm still waiting, Kenny, for the Carolina Panthers to say, let's really sweeten this thing up. Let's go sign Baker Mayfield and let him compete. See if he can win the starting job. Wouldn't that be something to really get fired up about? 1-21-1 is the record of the Cleveland Browns since they returned in 1999 on opening day. They've won one game. That was Jeff Garcia in 2004 beating the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, his dad went absolutely crazy. I think he did laps around the field or whatever, right? Yep. It was at home. They tied the Steelers a few years ago, right? 1-21-1. So they haven't won. 1-21-1. And yet you go right to week 3. That's what I'm like, wait a minute. What this way? They never win an opening day, but Rhoda's they're going to give him a W against the Carolina Panthers. Right I like your moxie, man. I like your moxie.
You know what? If I would have said that and called Sindelar on the air like that, he'd say, "That's all. You're done. Goodbye, Rhoda." He'd hang up on me if I would have said that. Right? But 1-21-1. So they haven't won an opener in 17 years. This is the year.
Isn't that incredible? That's incredible.
How sweet would it be, if for it's a trade, or if they cut him and the Panthers pick him up to see Baker Mayfield with Carolina on opening day against Deshaun Watson and the Browns or Jacoby Brissett or whoever it would be. That you talk about an opening week headliner. That would be it right there.
Yeah, it would. And that's why I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility yet, Kenny. I think the Browns are, you and I discussed this in our last show a couple of weeks ago. I really think now 2 weeks have passed. I think they are resolute now in the fact that we're probably going to have to pay some of the freight to get rid of him. Now, the thing is, how much can they minimize it? Because he's got, I believe it's 18.7 due this year. That's wherever. If he's on an NFL roster, kids, that's what Baker Mayfield's got to be paid. I don't care. He's anywhere from your starter to your third team guy. You got to pay him 18.7. I just don't think any teams really want to do that, Ken. Browns are going to have to chip in
more than half, Michael, if they want to get a deal done.
I would think so.
Because
wouldn't you? Any team, doesn't matter. You're a GM on another team. Wouldn't that be your listen? Yeah, you want them? Okay. Well, at least I would probably say at least you got 10 million of it. I need 10. You pay 10 million of his salary, and I'll take him off your hands.
I think that's minimum. 10 million's minimum what they'll have to pay, and then maybe they can get an actual draft pick, for Baker Mayfield if they pay the 10 million. We'll have to see, because here's the thing,
and that'll be 6th, 7th round.
Well, I'm hoping 4th or 5th, based on snap. You put in those clauses. Games played, snaps played on offense, that type of stuff,
Sure.
Because if they just flat out cut him, Michael, whoever picks him up only has to pay him $1.7 million, and the Browns are responsible for the rest of that contract. So that's why even if you have to pay 10, 11, 12 million, it's better than paying 17 million, and you might get a draft pick, right?
That's right. And that's exactly why they haven't cut him to this point. If it was easier than that, he would have been gone already.
No question.
Simple.
So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that to see if Baker ends up in Carolina and plays the Browns in week. Then I might change my mind, Michael. But right now, I'm saying, baby, they're snapping that 17, winless streak, 17-game winless streak on opening day. I got them beating the Panthers, the Jets, and they're going to split between Pittsburgh and the Falcons. I've got them 3-1 after 4 games, Michael.
Yeah, I'm with you, but I'll take it that they're gonna that loss is gonna be to your Stillers on Thursday night at home, and then they rebound and go down to Atlanta and win. So I'll have them with you. I think we're both 3-1 going into that battle with Justin Herbert and the LA Chargers.
Absolutely. Actually, you know what?
Tough football game.
Because I'm looking at what I picked the other day on the Kenny and JT show, right? I've got them at 4-0 in what it might have been happy hour and we were drinking when we did that show, Reg, but I've got them at 4-0 there. So you know what? I'm going to stay true to what I said, whether I was,
all right, that's
hey, what the hell are you thinking, Roller? 4-0, and they haven't won in 17 years.
Our boy, Harry. That's right. Put me down for 3-1.
Right, so I've got them. I'm staying at 4-0 right there. So then Chargers, Patriots at home, at Ravens, Bengals at home. You talk about a meat grinder, Reg. Luckily, 3 of the 4 are at home, but you're talking about Super Bowl contender, playoff contender, last year's AFC Super Bowl representative.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna be optimistic here, and I'm going because hey, listen, they need to do this, but I'm gonna go 2-2 there, which is going to put them for me at 5-3 after 8.
And I'm with you. I have them losing at home to the Chargers.
That's a possibility.
Beating the Patriots at home, on the road at Baltimore and and then. For whatever reason, until Joe Burrow can prove he can beat the Browns, for whatever reason, the Browns, Baker, whoever was, they just seem to play them well. And until he can prove that he can beat them, I'm taking the Browns in that. So I've got them going 2-2 in that situation as well, Rich.
Okay, so then that's 5-3 for me after 8, and that's 6-2 for you.
Yes,
is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay.
6-2,
and that's going into the bye week. Now, as I mentioned when we started, Kenny, to me, here's where that football pigskin meets the road for the Cleveland Browns here. Coming out of that bye week, 4 of the next 5 are on the road. Certainly, 2 of them are, I would think, against who everybody feels will be a playoff team, right? And 4 of those 5 at Buffalo and against the Tampa Bay Bucks. So, all right, you got. So, what about coming out of the bye week? Where are you at with it?
And for all our listeners here on the R&R podcast, this is based on Deshaun Watson playing all 17 games, right? We think we're basing this on Deshaun Watson is, for whatever reason, maybe not going to get suspended. It holds over until 23, whatever. So we're counting. Okay.
That's right.
For me, here's what I have. I've got a win at Miami and Tua Tagovailoa. I'm just not sold. Okay. Down in Miami.
Right.
Buffalo Bills. That's an L at Buffalo. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, TB12 is going to come in and figure out a way, to beat the Brownies. And then the Houston Texans, I've got that as a win. So I've got them going 2-2 in that stretch, Reg.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna go the exact same way. I hope they don't. Coming out there, they got to get that win down in the humidity down in Miami, because if they don't, then having to play Buffalo next and then Brady coming in, So I'll go 2-2 as well. During that period. So for me, that puts them at 7-5.
Right. Yep. And I've got them at 8-4 through 12 games. All right.
Okay. So that's through 12. That's through week 13 at Houston. Okay.
And then,
all right.
Then we go at the Cincinnati Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens at home, the New Orleans Saints, and then they close out at Washington, at Pittsburgh. So these last 5 games with a 17-game schedule, you look at that, and 3 of the, 4 of the last 6 are on the road, but in this block, it's 3 of the last 5 are on the road. Reg, what do you see there?
Yep. Well, here's the thing with me. I just can't see them, Kenny. So we both hadn't beaten Pittsburgh in week 3. No, I did not. No. Did I? That's correct. All right. So to me, I see splits with those 3 other teams in the division. So I've already given them a win. So that would mean I'm going to go L against the Bengals, W against the Ravens, because I gave them a loss in that one, right, at Baltimore. It's a tough game, Kenny, down in New Orleans. It's tougher than you think.
Home games.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It is a home game. And it's on Christmas
and Jarvis
Eve.
Landry comes back to Cleveland in that one.
Jarvis and Jameis.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't see Jameis playing real well, and he could be good for 4 or 5 picks.
Easy.
So, So I'm going to go with the Browns in that one. And then a win over Washington in the Capitol. And like I said, Kenny, I've already had them with the I took them to lose. I keep saying this. I'll go win against Pittsburgh, which will even in Hines, which will even it. So I've got them basically going 1-1 against all 3 of the division rivals.
All right. So 3-3 in the division. And if my math is correct, Michael Rega, you and I have come up with an 11-6 record, different path for both of us as of right now, but an 11-6 record for the Browns, expecting Deshaun Watson to play. That's if Deshaun Watson plays all 17 games. So 11-6, does that win him the division, Reg?
Boy, that's it should have them right there, Kenny. Cincinnati, I just don't think is going to maintain that Super Bowl level of a season ago. Pittsburgh, again, the quarterback situation now, as we know, and I hate to say it because I don't know who here people hate the worst here.
Yeah.
You know, the Steelers or the Ravens, probably divided there, right? But I just do not see them doing any more than, as I said, splitting with Baltimore. Ken, it's a good football team. Yep. We know that. I'm gonna take those purple Ravens at 12-5 to win the division. The Browns second.
And here's the interesting thing for you and I going through the schedule game. Vegas has the Bengals, the Browns, and the Ravens all at 9.5 wins as the over-under. They've got all 3 of them at 9.5. And you and I are thinking Browns definitely over.
We're being optimistic. Yeah, Ravens to me over for sure. Yeah. So Cincinnati, like I said, I think they're taking a step back. I do. I just, I tell you, you look at, they won, I think they won 3 football games on the last possession on the field goal makes.
Evan McPherson, absolutely.
Evan McPherson. So I'm taking a step back for them. I'm going to put them at 9-8.
Okay.
And then we've got your black and gold, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wow, that's a tough call.
I've got them at 7-10, Reg. Yeah.
Do you? I'm gonna go 8-9.
Okay.
For them.
Yeah, because of the quarterback situation, just too
situation,
too questionable there. Yep. So, all right. So you got I've got the Browns winning the division at 11-6. You got the Ravens at 12.
Well, it could. Yep. I mean, definitely could. I'll tell you how it could happen, Kenny. Easy. I think, do we both have them at 3-3 in their division, or do you have them at 4-2?
Let me see here. Hold on. I got to look that up. I got them 1-0 against the Steelers. Let's see here. 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2. I got them at 3-3 as well, Reg. Yeah.
Yeah. See, we both have 3-3. So if it could be as simple, Kenny, as far as winning the division, if that could turn into 4-2.
Yeah. Good point.
And you go 4-2 in the division. Now you got a shot to win the division. I think one of the teams is going to go 4-2 in the division. And now who is that? Who is that right now, And so I'm saying Baltimore. But if the Browns can can get it up over 3-3 to 4-2. They got a shot to win the division.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, we haven't even talked about Deshaun Watson meeting with the NFL supposedly this week, as well as taking players to the Bahamas. So we're going to get a break in right now. Come back. We're going to tackle those topics, those issues with Deshaun Watson. But before we get to break, I'm going to remind everybody about Northfield Park, because they are your home for live and simulcast racing. And this Saturday, you got to head on out to MGM Northfield Park. May 21st, it's the Preakness Stakes at Northfield Park. Watch and wager on the top thoroughbreds as they compete in the second jewel of the Triple Crown. Enjoy live music and food trucks from 1 until 7 p.m. Plus, you can register to win prizes all afternoon long. You could win $100 win bets on the Preakness, MGM Center Stage concert tickets, or the grand prize of $1,000. Doors open Saturday at 9:30 a.m. and live racing begins at 6 p.m. at Northfield Park, and you can enjoy the Preakness and take home some cash at MGM Northfield Park. We'll come back. We'll talk about Deshaun Watson and what lies ahead for him next on the R&R Podcast on the Press Play Podcast Network.
For the Dennis Maniloff Show, I'll tap into my 40-plus years of following Cleveland sports and 30-plus years of writing and talking about them, so as to bring you informed opinions and analysis of your favorite players and teams. I also will monitor the national sports scene and, when warranted, step out of the toy department and into the real world. And I'll always be on the lookout for special guests. By all means, join us.
What's up, everyone? Chase Smith here, host of the Chase Smith Podcast, and my podcast reflects who I am. My hobbies, my interests, my passions, my curiosities, my careers, my questions, and my family. I'll spend time talking about all types of sports, movies, TV shows, trending news stories, and other cultural events, and even faith. This is who I am, and I hope I can get to know you as well. Join me on the Chase Smith Podcast, and let's have some thought-provoking conversations, only on the Press Play Podcast Network.
Hey everyone, this is Mike Voorhees.
And I'm Brian Shaw. No, not the pitcher. We're the Guardians of the Land MLB podcast, formerly a Swingin' a Tribe.
Don't have time to watch 162 games of baseball? We do. We have you covered with recaps of the games, stats, and analysis throughout the MLB season.
Subscribe now to Guardians of the Land and Press Play Pods for all your Cleveland sports analysis.
And welcome back to the R&R Podcast here on the Press Play Podcast Network, brought to you by MGM Northfield Park. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. Catch the excitement of live harness racing every Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday evening. Post time is 6 p.m. So enjoy yourself there at Northfield Park. Jordan's looking at me like I lost my mind there, Reg, when I went to Human Bugle right there to welcome everybody back here with the harness racing at Northfield Park.
We got to hear Rhoda's bugle for
absolutely 6 o'clock. Yes, indeedy duty.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, we did our schedule game last segment. Two things with Deshaun Watson that came out. We're taping this on Monday evening, and this came out Monday morning. And one, he is scheduled to meet with the NFL sometime this week, allegedly. Two, we know this to be fact. He's going to take some of his teammates, offensive teammates, on a trip like Baker Mayfield did last year. Baker, though, took them to Montana. Deshaun Watson is taking them to the islands of the Bahamas. Start wherever you want to start out of those two, Michael.
Well, I'm going to start with the meeting with the NFL. Kenny, I have a strong sense, because of the things that came out a few weeks ago regarding at least the potential. I don't think the claiming of the potential by the NFL to back this suspension off until the 2023 season, I think that's got some legs and justification to it, Ken. And I know that's obviously the best scenario for the Browns. I got a feeling that that might happen, that they're going to push it back to 2023, at which time I think it might be a 5-game deal in 2023. Okay. But if I'm the Browns, and they're never going to tell you this, but it's almost like, okay, which would you prefer? You want to get it done this year? You want to get it done this year? Well, then we might have to be a little bit harsher on the penalty. But I do think there's some chance for that, Ken. As far as Deshaun Watson taking his offensive teammates to the Bahamas, I don't see how it can do anything but continue to improve his standing and rank and status with his teammates on the offensive side of the football, right? I mean, you know how the fellas love that sort of thing in the offseason, and yet they're going to be, they're going to be working on the offensive playbook. And so it's probably with the football team, I think it's a real wise thing for Watson to do.
It's a bonding thing, Reg, right? They want to come together and sit around the campfire and kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. And all those guys doing that. Well, in the Bahamas, it'll probably be sitting around the craps table or the blackjack table and hitting the beach on occasion. And then working on some throwing and patterns and routes and catching football and getting to know each other a little bit. I'm fine with that.
Absolutely.
And we joked about it on the Kenny and JT show on WHBC. Where would you rather go? Would you rather go to the mountains of Montana, Butte, Montana, or Helena, Montana, whatever the capital is there? Or would you rather go to the Bahamas and throw the football in the sand a little bit and cool off in the blue waters there? So I like that side of it. To your point about his potential suspension being held off until next season, I think there's a possibility there too, Reg. I think two things are going to happen. Either if he does indeed meet with them this week and Roger Goodell has enough information, he's happy with the information. As we know, there's going to be a group that I guess meets with Deshaun Watson, and they're going to pass along their findings to Roger Goodell. And then I think Roger Goodell then is judge, jury, and executioner in that situation.
Yeah, I think that's right. I know this. I think we've already seen, and I've got to believe he will. He's smart, man. I got to believe he understands what's at stake here, right? Deshaun Watson, be contrite, man. Be as contrite as you can be, and make sure that you put out there that you understand that I wouldn't get into too much about, remember, regrouping. Yeah. Remember, Kenny, didn't he say a couple of times as well, I didn't do anything wrong. I would leave that alone if I were him. I don't no need to say that again, because see, that is not showing being contrite, right? That's so okay. And then maybe that's the way the man feels, but I just don't, you said it. I think a lot of people kind of like, what, right, to him when that was said. So you don't think you have any culpability here? You don't even understand why you're in this. I would really leave that stuff alone if I was him. Just take it from right now and what he wants to accomplish and how he wants to accomplish that with this football team. And I mean, the bonding, off-field things, emphasize that. Put everything there. Don't go back to, the situations that may or may have not gotten you in trouble to begin with. Let that go now. That's been stated, right? Let it go. Go with how you feel going forward and really make sure you show how contrite you are and how you're looking forward to here in Cleveland do nothing but spectacular things off the field as well.
I'm with you on that, Reg. Again, innocent until proven guilty. Not criminally charged. These are 22 civil suits that are still, being depositioned and being looked at. I don't know how Roger Goodell, if he doesn't have the finalization of those 22 civil suits, how can he suspend him without knowing the results of that? Right? To me, what's he going to do? Suspend him 6 games this year? And then come back, and if he's found guilty, 6 more next year. I can't see. So I think it's either, he's going to play this year without a suspension, and then they'll determine in the offseason whether he's, liable in the civil suits. And in that case, did he affect the morals clause in the NFL contract? Okay, then you suspend him for 6, 8 games, whatever it is next year. But I can't see him handing down a suspension before all the information is in, even though they're saying it's our information that we need, right? Unless they've talked to Michael, and this is the only, and I always leave myself a way out, unless they've talked to all 22 of the women, okay, that we don't know about, and got information from them, and they're going to compare, their notes with what Deshaun Watson is asked by them. So,
well, and that's the only possibility, and that's why I think this could be on a strong road to be set back to 2023,
right.
Ken.
Yeah, and I think the Browns would prefer that. Get a season in with him, and even if he's suspended 4, 5, 6 games next year, at least he's familiar with the offense. He had a season, in training camp, a full NFL season if he stays healthy. Okay, then you're going to have to play the backup maybe next year, 4, 5, 6 games, whatever it is. Maybe it's longer. Maybe he's found guilty. We don't know. But I think the Browns would prefer it that way too. So we'll see how this plays out and what happens. Heck, Roger, who knows? With Roger Goodell, he could meet with him this week and then decide, okay, you're out for 10 games this year. And then he appeals and tries to get it knocked down to, 8 or 6 or, what was Roethlisberger suspended for? 6. And then he appealed and
he appealed it down to 4.
Yeah, down to 4 games. So obviously it's not a good look any way you look at it with Deshaun Watson. So that's the chance the Browns took, though. They went all in on Deshaun Watson. Now they're just waiting to see if they will get all of him this year. If not, then how much will they get of him this year? And will they have to wait the next year to get 100% of Deshaun Watson? So we'll see how that plays out. Michael, let's do this. Let's get a break in right now. And then when we come back, let's touch on the Cavaliers at Bith, another ping pong ball in the hopper, draft lottery, right? NBA playoffs, who you like out of the 4 teams that are left. It's Golden State and Dallas in the West, and the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat in the East. And then you've got some thoughts on, I see you're wearing your Cleveland Guardians hat today. You've got some thoughts on the arms race for the Cleveland Guardians, right? That's not living up.
As in, what the hell is going on with them? Yeah.
We'll get into all of that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah, specifically starting rotation for me. I dug into it a little bit and oh boy. So yeah, let's get into that.
Break time for us here on the Red Guy and Rhoda podcast on the Press Play Podcast Network. Back with Cavs and Guardians talk right after this. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. And this Saturday, May 21st, it's the Preakness Stakes at Northfield Park. Watch and wager on the top thoroughbreds as they compete in the second jewel of the Triple Crown. Enjoy live music and food trucks from 1 until 7 p.m. Plus, register to win prizes all afternoon. You could win $100 win bets on the Preakness, MGM Center Stage concert tickets, or the grand prize of $1,000. Doors open at 9:30 a.m. and live racing begins at 6 p.m. at Northfield Park. Free admission and free parking every day at Northfield Park.
We are excited to announce that we are joining the Press Play Podcast Network. The Krypton Report podcast is dedicated to all things Superman, Supergirl, and the planet Krypton. We discuss movies, TV, game, comics, and all things DC.
So join me, Tyler, with my co-host James and Jania.
So join us as we explore DC's multiverse.
Look for Krypton Report on all social media platforms.
What's good, everybody? My name is Taylor Vanderbilt, and I'm the host of the 440 College Basketball Podcast here on the Press Play Podcast Network. On the 440, we talk about literally everything college basketball related. It could be women's, it could be men's, it could be recruiting, it could be the tournament. It does not matter. We cover it all. So check it out. Again, it's the 440 College Basketball Podcast here on the Press Play Podcast Network.
Looking for new insights on the Cleveland sports scene with a unique side of Cleveland sports history? Then you found the perfect podcast. I'm John Sable.
And I'm Scott Sable, and we're hosts of the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, a podcast about Cleveland sports, but not your typical podcast about the land's sports teams. Join us as we embark on a journey of sharing a unique and historical side of Cleveland sports history with the help of some former Cleveland sports stars and other historical figures.
All right here on the Sable Brothers on the Baseline podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
And welcome back to the R&R podcast, brought to you by MGM Northfield Park. Open early every day for simulcast action, free admission, and free parking. You get that every day at Northfield Park. And don't forget to head out there this Saturday, May 21st. It's the Preakness Stakes at Northfield Park. Watch and wager and take home some cash at Northfield Park. Cavaliers are hoping, Michael Regai, on Tuesday, May 17th, as we're taping this on Monday, May 16th. That's going to be their lucky night. And they vault from number 14 in the NBA draft lottery all the way up to 1, 2, 3, or 4. Those are the 4 spots they can jump up to, Reg. So it's either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 14 in this draft lottery. So you got any good luck charms you're going to be taking with you tomorrow?
Yeah, I was going to ask you the same thing because, I love your app, Beth, another ping pong ball in the hopper. So maybe you think about it. Maybe you've got some a lucky charm connected with that. You know how the Celtics always put out their, their little leprechaun and with the shamrocks and their logo, and he does on. Maybe the Cavaliers could come up with something like that to put a little bit of voodoo stuff.
They're sending Anderson Varejao to the draft lottery.
The
wild thing's going there for good luck.
Okay. I got a feeling they're going to be right around where we think they 14. Are, Ken. Somewhere in there. And, if that's the case, we'll have another show or two before the draft, and we'll get into some of the individuals that may be available to them then. Now, if they are, if they are up top, right, you're talking guys like Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga, Jabari Smith, the power forward from Auburn. I think he's about 6'10". And whom am I? Pablo Banchero, your boy Krzyzewski's guy at Duke. He came out as a freshman after a real strong year there. They're going to be, those 3 are going to be in the top 5. So if the Cavaliers are lucky to get up there, one of those 3 could be the one wearing a Cavalier uniform. But again, Ken, I'm looking more at the in that 10 to 14.
Here's the thing, Reg. In looking at this and doing a little research, if they don't jump into the top 4, they're stuck at 14. So we'll know.
Oh, no, that's right.
Here's the thing.
You're right. I said 10 to 4. If they aren't top 4, they
That's
will be
it.
14.
So we'll know.
You're absolutely correct. So I take back what I just said.
ESPN 8 o'clock draft lottery, when they open that first envelope, if it is not the Cavaliers, that means they have vaulted into the top 4. Okay. What I'm expecting is when they open that first envelope, it's going to be the Cavaliers, and then the rest of it is irrelevant. Right. But should somehow, some way, well, maybe it's a lock of Anderson Varejao's hair that's the good luck charm, whatever it is. Should they open that first envelope and it's not the Cavaliers, then my goodness, then those guys you mentioned, Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren, Jabari Smith, Jaden Ivey, Keegan Murray, those guys then come into play for the Cavaliers.
And I'll bet you it's one of those 5. You just added Ivy and Murray, good call by you. I would guarantee it's one of those 5.
I'm looking at those guys, and highly unlikely that it's Chet Holmgren. You can't have 12 7-footers on a basketball team. So maybe they would trade if it's number 1. If somebody wants Chet Holmgren, then you trade that. But I'm looking, the guy I would like, me personally, Michael, if they were lucky enough to get into the top 4, I want either Jabari Smith or Paolo Banchero, preferably Banchero. Okay. I like Banchero's all-around game.
What now? He's young. 19. He's 19 years old. He's freshman year at Duke. So what is it about his game that makes you feel like it would, really acclimate well to the NBA and fit well with the Cavaliers?
Inside, outside in college. And I think the NBA game would open up his game even more. And I think he would be able to contribute right away with this Cavaliers team with Darius Garland as his point guard. I like him as the number 4 guy in that lineup. Now, how do you do that when you have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, right? 5'4". Does he knock out Lauri Markkanen? Yes. I think Markkanen is an ideal come off the bench, stretch 3-4. And I think that would be the perfect role for him. So I could see Banchero as a 3, okay, in that starting lineup with Karis LeVert, Darius Garland, Banchero, Mobley, and Jared Allen. That, if they were lucky enough to get that.
Yeah, well, and again, that wouldn't be a bad way to go. I will say this, if you can get, if the Cavaliers can come out of this and they go starting next year with Lauri Markkanen and Colin Sexton, or Colin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen as their 6th, 7th guy, well, I like that. Right? Yeah, I like that a lot. And we can see where it could go from there. But, now Sexton's going to want an extension, isn't he? He's going to want to get, am I right about that? He's going to want that for him and his camp taken care of.
He's a restricted free agent, so the Cavs can match her. So if somebody is out there and they really love him, they can make an offer, right? And the Cavaliers can match or not match. And then, he goes to whichever team then made that offer. The next year is when he is an unrestricted free agent. So it'll be interesting to see what the Cavs think of him this offseason, Michael, because they've also got to think about locking up Darius Garland long-term. I saw a report online today that Rich Paul, his agent, is looking at potentially 5 years and $180 million for Darius Garland, if you're going to extend him when the time is right. And I think that's either this summer or next summer. So you got to make this. Who of those two? It's a no-brainer. I keep Garland and maybe use Sexton as a trade piece if money all of a sudden becomes an issue.
Yeah, at this point you have to. After year 1, I wouldn't have said that. And it's funny, isn't it, how things change? But I think so now. And I listen. I'm just going to. How those last couple of losses when Garland took 25 shots in one of them and 29 shots in the game where they were eliminated. I love the kid. I did not like that. And I said that on his, that's too much, man. You can't be and you're going 8 for 29. No. Can't have that. So, but love Darius. And right now, Kenny, he's the guy that I really think, along with him and Mobley, and with Jared Allen right there with him. I mean, those are your guys. I mean, you got to get it from. If they're going to make this next jump, those are the 3 guys that really got to be special. I really believe. I know a lot of you Cavalier fans don't believe this. I believe that with a full season here, you're going to see a Karis LeVert averages 16, 17 points a game. You'd like to see him shoot the 3 a little bit better, the higher percentage. But again, to me, if they can get it where they feel good about Sexton and Markkanen being your 6th and 7th men, Kenny, I'm all about that. And I think the Cavaliers got some real good things in store for them in the NBA.
All right. And now reality setting in, Michael Rega. More than likely they're going to pick 14. So who's available at 14? Ochai Agbaji from the national champion Kansas Jayhawks. And he's a little bit older, right? He's that athletic 3D wing that they're kind of looking for. Yes. He's 21 years old. So more.
Take that role that Okoro. No. Somebody's got to get in. No, it can't be Isaac Okoro. No. Agbaji would be good.
So he's there also. The kid from Ohio State, Malachi Branham, is also a wing player.
Akron St. Vincent St. Mary young man
has potential. So if they're at 14 and they can land either one of those guys, Michael, for what they need, which is, a wing player, a 2-3 wing player.
They do.
I'd be fine with either one of those guys, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, I would too. I've honed in a little bit more, as we said, on the, that top 5 that we threw out of a minute ago of Holmgren, Jabari Smith, and Who else do we? Paolo Banchero, and then we brought up Jaden Ivey, the two Big Ten guys. You brought up three Big Ten guys. Jaden Ivey, Malachi Branham,
Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray, Iowa.
Yep.
There you go. Yep.
So
there you go.
We'll see how that pans out, I guess, and plays out for the Cavaliers is the best way to put it, with the ping pong balls and how they bounce. All right. So luck of the ping pong ball. We'll see if it's in the Cavaliers' favor. Final four are set, Michael, in the NBA, and in the East, it's chalk 1 versus 2. Miami the 1, Boston the 2 in a 7-game series in the Eastern Conference Finals. Out West, 1 and 2 are gone. It's 3 and 4 in the Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks, who I enjoyed watching. I picked the Suns to win it all this year, back at the beginning of the season and when the playoffs started. So I'm wrong there. I'm rooting for the Mavericks because of this. I hate the Celtics. Okay. I despise the Warriors. Okay. Miami, the Godfather, I love him to death from his Showtime days, but he ain't a Laker anymore. So I'm rooting for the Dallas Mavaliers again, like I did when they were going up against LeBron with Dirk Nowitzki and the fellas when LeBron left for Miami. Luka Doncic is a bad man, Michael Regai.
Isn't he incredible? He is absolutely incredible.
He is old school personified. The footwork, the up and under, the ball fakes, the fadeaway, and then just laughing in the face of the Suns fans who were giving him shit on the sidelines and everything like that. I love me Luka Doncic.
Laughing at Devin Booker during with dead balls when they were like standing next to each other. You could almost basically tell him, "You choke, man. You choke." They were down 50, Kenny. How, if you're the Phoenix Suns in a game 7, can you be down 50
at home
during the course of the game? Now, you talk about just absolutely unreal, almost inexplainable embarrassments. That might go right to the top of my list of all time.
It's up there. I right now, off the top of my head, I can't think of a worse loss performance in a bigger game like that. Right?
Neither can I. I'd have to really think about it and go back. Completely, just absolutely as embarrassing as any professional team in any sport in a game of that magnitude that I can recall.
Yeah, it was impressive from Dallas's standpoint, and when you consider DeAndre Ayton got benched by his coach in a game 7. Chris Paul allegedly got hurt again and failed in a game 7 and in a series again, being up 2-0 in a series. How many times has that happened? 4, 5, 6. I've lost track with him. And then D Book running his mouth when they were up in the series, and then 3 of 14 from the field for 11 points. And you're an MVP candidate. And you do that at home. Usually the shot maybe doesn't travel as well on the road, Reg, but at home to do that, give credit to Jason Kidd and that defensive effort they put forth, and then Luka just carrying them along with Dinwiddie, who shot the lights out of the arena.
Sir Dinwiddie, I know. And there have been a couple times in these playoffs where, he got out of control and kind of hurt them. But it looks like, and I agree with you about Jason Kidd. This man can coach now. He could coach because he's done a hell of a job in X and O in this. And maybe philosophy-wise, too, putting his basketball team in a strong position to win that series. Nobody had them winning that series. Nobody.
I didn't, Reg.
Neither.
And I don't have them winning this series, and it pisses me off because I hate the Warriors. But God dang, Curry's got fresh legs because he was hurt. Clay's got fresh legs because he was hurt, right? Draymond was out for a while, so he's got fresh legs.
He's okay. Jordan Poole has just been terrific for them. Now, again, you look at, but they don't know. They don't have size.
They don't care.
Everybody said, well, we could pound them inside. We'll just pound them. Well, everybody said nobody ever does.
Right.
Nobody ever does. So, I don't know, Kenny. I really want to take Dallas for all the reasons we just said, but I do think Golden State will win that series, and I'm gonna do your other hated team. I think the Boston Celtics are going to take Miami out.
So now I got to, if that's the case,
I'm going to take them out.
I got to pick between Golden State and Boston. Who the hell am I going to root for?
You don't have to
in that series.
No, are you? Well, I thought you would take Miami.
I do want them to win, but I'm saying if you're right and it is Boston and I think Golden State's going to get there,
Kenny Rhoda, the great basketball fan, would not.
I may turn it off. Finals. I may not even watch the whole damn thing if that's the case. My two most hated teams, the Celtics and the Warriors.
Well, they proved something to me the other day, man. Kenny, they hit, and I thought, well, Giannis can go get 45, and the Celtics hit 22 threes. Now, and Milwaukee doesn't even shoot the damn three, Kenny. They could care less about it. Hell of a team, but when Boston started draining those triples, like big trouble, and Boston won Game 7.
And with Middleton out, he's their 3-point guy, right?
Oh, that
hurt them big time, but still. They were up 3-2 without him, Reg. Couldn't close.
They were up 3-2 and at home to close. And Boston had a big fourth quarter and beat them. And as soon when that happened Friday night, Ken, I said, hey, no way they're losing again in the Garden. Milwaukee had already won twice in Boston.
Yeah.
Are they going to do it 3 times now? No. So,
all right. So
I got Boston. I got Boston Golden State. You got Miami Golden State.
That's it.
Okay.
And you know what, Reg? It pains me to say I think Golden State's going to win the whole damn thing again. I just do. That death lineup that they put out there, the speed lineup, the pool party, the Splash Brothers, they got all kind of freaking nicknames that drive me crazy, and they're so cocky and arrogant and all that.
And Draymond just,
I don't know who I hate more, Draymond Green or Bill Laimbeer. I don't know. Those two, man.
Draymond is the classic. You love him to pieces if he's your guy, and just despise him with every ounce of your being if he doesn't play on the team you root for. They're just, he's the classic that guy.
Oh, without a doubt. He is the new version, the updated version of Dennis Rodman and Bill Laimbeer, right? Those guys that got under your skin and loved it, didn't care if they got punched in the mouth, kicked out of a game, yelled at by the fans. Hey, he gave them the double bird and said, I'll go do a personal appearance and pay for it. I don't care,
They welcome that. And Draymond, those Pistons, Laimbeer and Rodman you mentioned, they welcome that. And so does Draymond. I mean, again, he plays with a reckless abandon, Kenny. And I mean, he's so, I hate him, I know, but he is so good defensively. God, is he good defensively.
When they're whole, that's the perfect spot for him in the NBA. He doesn't have to score much, right? He rebounds, he plays defense. He passes, and he
sets hellacious screens.
Mostly illegal, but it gets away with them.
Sure.
Right, so it's the perfect role for him, and it pisses me off. I hate that. I don't want them to. Michael, I cannot root for. I thought I might be able to because they're not playing the Cavaliers. I cannot, and
you might even root for the Celtics.
I probably will. And I like Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr and I drank champagne. You were there. We were at the party.
We were at
the 1997 All-Star Weekend. He wins the 3-point shootout.
Yes.
We're Wayman Tisdale's, strumming the bass, jamming the bass, man. And we're drinking champagne with Steve Kerr at the Players Association party. I love Steve Kerr, but I can't root for his team. I just can't do it. Not going to do it. Never will do it. Not going to do it, Reg.
Yeah, buddy, get ready, because I got a feeling that as much as Luka and the Mavs would be a hell of a story, but I just can't see them beating them in a 7-game series.
That's my team.
There you go.
That's I'm fired up for.
Okay.
Hey, Reg, before we get out of here, the Guardians, real quick. 16 and 17 is their record. They're first in baseball with a 251 team batting average. They're 14th in the American League in pitching with an earned run average over 4. What do you make of this team?
I am very, very surprised on two fronts. A, record right about what we thought. I believe did you have 78 and 84?
75 wins was my total. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I had 79 and 83. So they're, 500. They're right there. But this starting pitching staff, and let me say, as a disclaimer, yes, in the last couple years, they've been excellent, tremendous. This year, oh, no, anything but. Shane Bieber is throwing about 90, 91 miles an hour, Kenny.
Yeah.
His velo is way down. Now, he pitched real well. When did he go? Today's Monday. Did he go Saturday
or Sunday? He went over the weekend.
His last start. Yeah, he pitched real well. But, Kenny, I'll keep Savali and Plesac. What? And Quantrill? Oh, Kenny. I mean, they can't throw strikes to get ahead. Their ERAs are sky high. None of them got a winning record. I know they've all had 6-7 starts, but this is surprising because this, again, we know this is supposed to be the bellwether of the Cleveland Guardians. Their starting pitching staff. They've been anything but. It's been the damn offense, unbelievably, that has allowed them to be around 500, given the starting pitching staff has been bad. As a group, bad.
I'm shocked by it like you are, Michael. It worries me about Bieber, even though he pitched well his last time out. I texted Andre Knott about it. He said, no talk of injury or anything. He's fine. So I hope that's the case. But the velo to be down that much, maybe he's building himself back up. And, we need to be patient with him. That's fine. I'm not worried about him. But, Savali, I may not have to. I may have to stop singing.
I'm not
singing the Savali song anymore. Dude, he's got an ERA almost at 10, or it was 10 at one point. Zach Plesac does not look good. Cal Quantrill, not good. Tristan McKenzie's been decent.
McKenzie's been the shining beacon of hope here. He's pitched the best of all of them. Right now. And again, 7 starts for all of them. 30 some odd games in?
33 games in.
But okay, 33 games in. But, we who thought after 33 games, although it's early, but who thought we'd say, Tristan McKenzie's the best starter they got right now. And he is, without question. And if you're trying to tell me he's not, you're not watching, because he is. The other 4, I know. No, haven't been anywhere near what they should be doing or what they're capable of.
So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. And can these young guys, the Owen Millers, the Stephen Kwans, who else am I? Enrico Palazzo from that movie. Remember the Naked Gun? He was the umpire. He sang the national anthem and then was the home plate umpire. Enrico Palazzo, whatever the Palazzo kid's name is. He came up for a cup of coffee. Jimenez, Rosario, the rotating door.
I like Owen Miller. You already mentioned him. I like Owen Miller. I think he might be able to hit as a major leaguer. I like Clement. I think Clement may be able to hit as a major leaguer. Franmil Reyes, Kenny. Franmil Reyes, if they keep running him out here every day, you want one of those Rage of Reds predictions? He will set the major league hitter strikeout record of all time. And I believe it's 224 punch-outs in a season. If they play him every day and he gets 4 at-bats every day, I'm telling you, Kenny, he is going to be north of 200 punch-outs.
The human windmill. He'll generate enough power. The progressive field doesn't need to use electricity for lights. They can just use his windmill power. Yeah, he's been struggling trying to hit it 8,000 feet every time that he's been up.
There you go. And that's the problem, man. You know what? Square the damn ball up and hit a line. Nothing wrong with hitting a live drive base hit. Line drive in the gap. Nothing wrong with that. But you can't K twice every game. I mean, my God. It's frustrating. It really is frustrating. So hitting a little bit better than I thought overall. Starting pitching, whoa. They got to pick it up in a big hurry.
Reg, getting back to Franmil, when he goes the opposite way is when he's at his best. When he's trying to pull everything and hit it over the scoreboard, that's when he's at his worst. And so that has to change. And
most hitters have got a little bit of pop that, when they start looking to turn and pull the baseball, Kenny, pitchers don't know that. Well, they're going to live on the edge on the outside. You want to start, you're going to roll over and ground out to shortstop. or punch out. If
you
Reyes.
ready for this? 116 at bats for Franmil Reyes, 51 strikeouts.
Almost every other time at the dish. That's why I said to you, if they play him every day and he gets 500 at bats, he might set the major league hitters' feudal record of striking out the most in a Major League Baseball season.
Michael, that would.
He's on pace. Those numbers you gave, he's on pace.
Yeah,
51 punch outs and how 115 ABs? Oh my God. Almost every other time at the plate.
The one guy I'm going to give some love to besides Jose Ramirez, who's just, hitting the ball like he always does. It's nice to see Josh Naylor contributing. And then he had to go on the COVID list after back-to-back games with homers and, all fired up and went incredible Hulk in the dugout and everything like that. But after the horrific injury that he had last year, to see him come back and be now that everyday first baseman, it looks like, which is fine by me. Happy to see that for him. And they need his bat, especially with Franmil struggling as much as he is.
No question. I like Josh Naylor, and I'm glad you brought him up because I was saying about, Owen Miller and Ernie Clement. I like Naylor too. And that was a real horrific injury he had last year. It's obvious he wasn't able to run, Kenny, because of it. And he gained weight. You could see that. But the guy's swinging the bat. He's swinging the bat real well. So let's hope he can continue to be a middle of the lineup guy, Ken, that you can really count on for productivity in this offense.
Yeah, I'm hoping that that's the case because they need it. Absolutely need it. So, we'll see. All right. You ready for this? I was trying to Google it while we were talking.
What you got?
And I knew the name. I think it's right. Mark Reynolds.
Yes, Mark Reynolds. He was a former Indian.
Here's the number that Franmil's chasing. You ready?
Was it over 220? 220 punch
You're
outs
almost
in the season?
right on you almost Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer at Reg. Right in the nose. 223 Mark Reynolds. Adam Dunn, 222.
Adam Dunn.
So those guys are 1 and 2. Most strikeouts in a single season in Major League history. Yeah.
Wow. I tell you what, man, again, that's striking out almost virtually every other time you go to the plate. That's not easy to do. I mean, again, remember, you're a major league hitter. So, that's not – how did you get to the major leagues? You had to show some proclivity to be able to either you hit with power or you hit for average and you're able to square the ball up. Striking out every other time at the plate, that isn't easy. And I just, Franmil. Yeah, we'll see.
He had the golden sombrero the other night. He struck out 4 times in 1 inning. Oh, I mean 1 game. What the hell?
That's right.
The golden sombrero. Right guy. That's insane. What the hell's wrong with him? Hit the damn.
Better give him a few more buds, Harry. But maybe that'll get him right.
Gosh, so we'll see if that's the record of all the records that are set by an Indians player this season. Let's hope not for the Cleveland Guardians. All right, Reg, we went a little long on this one, but we're having fun. A lot to talk about here on the Reg Eye and Rhoda podcast, brought to you by MGM Northfield Park. Remember, head on out there this weekend for the Preakness Watch and Wager and have a great time. Next time we get together, Reg, I think the Browns will have done OTAs. The draft lottery will be in the books. And we'll see if Franmil Reyes has reached 150 strikeouts.
We get back together. The Guardians will be right around the 50-game mark, or close, the next time we get together. So, that should be telling one way or the other.
All right, Reg. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks again.
You got it, buddy. Love it. Always be good being with you, man.
Love it. And thanks again to our esteemed producer, Jordan Powell. Does a great job getting this all out there. And check us out on the Press Play Podcast Network on a regular basis. Subscribe so you get all the news and notes, not only for our show, but all the shows on the Press Play Podcast Network. Talk to y'all in the not too distant future here on the Reg Eye and Rhoda podcast.